Across different countries, different languages, and different families, millions of men walk through the exact same invisible checkpoints. No one plans these moments. No one teaches them. Life simply has a way of introducing the exact same lessons to all of us at precisely the moment we are forced to learn them, when internal needs and immediate desires. As that circle pushes outward, it forces a series of quiet psychological shifts that reshape the individual from the inside out. The first shift happens quietly. One day, you simply stop asking your parents for things. It doesn't follow a massive argument, and it doesn't come after hearing the word no. You look closely at the kitchen table and notice your father calculating household expenses. You see your mother silently putting her own needs aside to make the math work. For the first time, you understand that everything has a cost. The comforts you took for granted were paid for by someone else's sacrifice. So you tell yourself you'll wait. You suppress your own desires to spare them the burden. And without realizing it, a small piece of childhood stays behind. Years later, that circle of awareness expands again. You look at your father, the person who always seemed like the strongest figure in the room, and notice something you never saw before. The gray hairs, the heavy, tired eyes, the slight hesitation in his movements. The illusion that he will forever be an unshakable protector begins to crack. You realize he is aging, and his strength is finite. The dynamic subtly reverses direction. The role of the protector begins to transition to you. In that exact moment, responsibility stops feeling like a word you memorize. It becomes a reality you have to shoulder. Eventually, life applies this exact same shift to your friendships. The group you spoke to every single day becomes a list of people you haven't heard from in months. The group chats get quiet. Shared plans happen less often. One by one, everyone gets occupied with the demands of building a life of their own. There are no arguments or drama. You simply realize the distance is already there, without a formal goodbye to mark the end. Maturation requires the emotional capacity to accept this drift. You learn that deeply important relationships don't always end with closure. Many simply fade into memory. The most transformative failures often happen in complete privacy. The exam you thought you would pass, the opportunity you thought was yours, the nights spent sitting entirely alone, wondering if your effort was wasted or if you were ever good enough to begin with. Nobody sees these moments, yet they dictate your trajectory far more than any public success. Failure strips away the ego. It introduces you to yourself, forcing an honest confrontation with your true limits and what you are genuinely capable of enduring. Slowly, your life becomes less about what you want and entirely about what depends on you. You become a foundational pillar, expected to support financial bills, family members, promises, and people trusting your stability. This weight arrives little by little, stacking piece by piece, until you carry a load you never imagined. Carrying this massive accumulated load quietly, without expecting a reward or a reprieve, is the defining marker of having reached adulthood. And then perhaps the biggest Canon event of all arrives, the quiet, solitary realization that nobody is coming to save you. This isolation is life's ultimate mechanism for forcing true independence. It demands that you become someone capable, someone who can step forward into uncertainty and stand on his own 2 feet when circumstances become difficult. Calm, observational tone. Accepting this weight changes the internal tempo. The frantic urge to prove yourself is replaced by a steady, patient focus on building something that lasts. The performance of youth gives way to a quiet, durable calm. From the outside, these moments look ordinary. Most people never even notice them. But together, regardless of the different paths we walk, these unwritten checkpoints quietly construct the exact architecture of the men we become.